Can you see okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you read the question to me then, here? What have we got?
A student plays 2 games of tennis. The probability that she wins the first game is 3/5. If she
Okay,
wins,
so we'll just pause there for a second. So she can win the first game or she can lose the first game. And winning is a 3/5. So losing is a 2/5. Okay, go on.
if she wins the first game, the probability that she wins the second is 7/10.
Okay, so that's 7/10.
3/10.
And that's 3/10. Okay.
And if she does not win the first game, the probability that she wins the second is 3/8.
And so loses the second is 5/8. So is the first question just to draw the tree?
Yeah,
Okay, and then was that okay?
yeah,
Are you sure?
yeah.
Yep.
It's just B.
Okay, what did they ask for in B?
Find the probability the student wins both games.
So that's the probability of win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3/5.
Yeah,
7/10.
that's it. So win-win is this part. Here, win, win. And you multiply as you travel the path. Sometimes they might say something like probability that she wins once. So that's win-lose or lose-win. And in those situations you would do this. Win, lose, yeah, that's it. Multiply and then add on the other part. Lose, win. But in this case actually it's just win-win. So it's just this. So what's that, like 21/50, which is 0.42.
Okay.
So what did you do? What went wrong?
I don't know. I think I added at the wrong place or something.
You did something funny here.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many marks in total for this question?
4.
4.
2-2? Okay. And Sevi, do you remember how this one went for you? I think you got this one,
Yeah.
didn't you? 0.42.
So did you correct?
I only I corrected Sevi's and I had a look at yours. I didn't correct it, but I just wanted to have a look at it to see roughly what grade it was.
How was it?
It was okay, but to be honest, I think, if I'm being honest, I think you should have done a little bit better in it, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
So to me, it feels like there's still a bit more work that you have to do for semester 1. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
the time, like there were some questions I left in section A to like come back at later.
And you didn't have time
I think
to.
like 3 or 4 of them, and then I
Yeah.
had to like leave all of them.
Okay, so you and I both agree that there's still some work left to do for semester
Yeah.
1 material. Okay. And Sevi, you made improvements on yours, but likewise, there's still space for more improvements. But like I mean, both of you did better than the last time you did it. But you know, what are we in? We're coming to the end of March, so maybe we need to accelerate a little bit in your studies. Okay. Right. What's the next one to have a look at?
Would it be for me, like D?
Yeah, like it was certainly a pass,
Okay.
which I don't think you achieved last time, did you? So like, you know, that's what I mean. It's moving in the right direction, but you know, we need to still accelerate it a little bit, because you probably need to do better than a D.
Yeah.
You probably need at least a C.
An A.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you need an A, then you really have to put the foot down. Really have to put it down. Okay, what's the next one here now?
That's A6.
6. Now, just Abir, is there anything before A6 you need to see?
A5.
Okay, what's A5? Go ahead.
Log. It solved the equation.
Yeah, okay. Log base,
Log base 3 4x.
like this?
Yeah. Minus log base 3 x minus 5. Yeah. Equals 2.
Now, but I like to do this before I start, just to check what the answer could be. So if I look at this, I need x to be positive. Why is that?
Can't be negative.
Yeah, you can't take the log of a negative.
Okay.
And if I look at this, what could I say?
Should be positive.
Yeah, so what does that mean about x?
0.
It's greater than 5.
It's greater than 5. What is the only way x could be bigger than 0 and bigger than 5 at the same time?
Bigger than 5.
If it's bigger than 5. Okay, so I know whatever answer I get, it absolutely has to be bigger than 5. No exceptions allowed. Okay, so if I'm in a situation where I get two answers, one more than 5 and the other less than 5, I only take the one that's more than 5, if that happens. Okay, so, Sevi, since this I don't think was a big problem for you, what to do first here?
Log 3,
Yeah,
and then divide 4x and x minus 5.
yeah, so that's using the second rule of logs. Is that okay, Avir? Yeah, you know the way you have your different rules of logs? So one of the rules says log A minus log B is log A over B. Okay, good. Right, next.
Bring 3 to the other side.
Yeah, how exactly? So what am I going to write here?
So leave the fraction 4x over x minus 5 and then 3 to the power of 2.
Yeah. So if you have something like log bx equals y, that's the same as saying b to the power of y
Is x.
is x. That's the meaning of log. Very good. Okay, which of course is 9. Right, so what's next here?
Bring x minus 5 to the other side.
Yeah, so that's 9 times x minus 5. And then obviously we have to multiply out
And then bring the
and bring to the other side. So 45 on the left, 5x on the right, because it's 9 minus 4. And finally we get x equal to 45, 9. Yeah. How many marks was that now?
4.
That's okay. That's okay. Only one answer, which is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So what was the sticking point here for you?
I think the rule, the 4x over x minus 5. No,
Yeah.
or, I mean, I don't know, maybe how to go after that. I don't remember. But
Yeah, well, this one's a bit tricky, this step here to here. Okay, so which one did you say, Sevi, after 5?
A6.
6. Okay. Well, I'll just give a bit of a minute here. Or do you have it? Yeah. Okay, so A6 now. Right, what's the story with that one? If you can read it, Sevi.
Let me read this here.
It's easier. What is it? Type of question is it? It's a trig one. Yeah. 2 cos theta plus 75 degrees equals 1. And they tell you that theta, your answers must be between 0 degrees and 360 degrees. And it could be 0 or 360. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, bring the 2 to the other side.
Good. So the first step is to bring the 2 to the other side. So that's cos theta plus 75 degrees equals a half. What do you think is next? Or stuck?
I can't find a pattern in this.
What do you mean by pattern?
I feel like it's different for tan, sine.
It is a little bit,
And
yeah.
I think there's 2 ways of doing it.
Yeah. It depends which way you prefer.
I don't
You
want to
can-
do the graph one.
No, not that one. You mean the circle?
Yeah, I don't want to do that one.
Yeah, I prefer not that one as well. So, what you do, first thing you do is take out your calculator and type in cos inverse a half in degree mode.
Yeah.
So let's see what we get there, yeah.
60.
60. So you say theta plus 75 equals 60. Now, here's the thing. Do you know how, if I said to you x squared equals 9, what does x equal? What would you say?
3.
Yeah, but it's actually two answers. So 3 is one of the answers. The other answer? And you know this, deep down you know this. You do? I'll tell you and you'll know it. Right? Right? Yeah. So my point is sometimes your answers occur in pairs. You know what I mean? You have two answers that could work. The same thing happens here. So your calculator gave you the first answer, which I'll put in black here. The second answer, you can figure it out from a formula. So you have cos, sine, tan. So for cos, the way you get the second answer is you do 360 minus the first answer you got on the calculator. For sine, it's 180. And for-
180.
Yeah, and for tan, it's 180 plus the first answer. Okay. So, what would be the second answer here?
300.
300. Now, once you have your first pair, you're allowed to repeat the pairs. So you can make another pair here, another pair here, etc.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, what I mean is, it's possible that there's more than 2 answers. You know, it could be like 100 answers. The way you make extra answers is quite easy. You copy these 2 answers in a very special way. What you do is you take these 2 answers and you add 360 to both. So in the next pair of answers you get 420 and 660. This is the second pair of answers. Then in the third pair you would add 360 again and 360 again. So I'll just write etc.
Wait, so why are you adding it? I thought the rule is to 360 minus.
Yeah, this is the thing now. This is only the rule to get the second answer. The way you generate more answers after the second is the same for cos, sine and tan. So this is only to get the second answer. But once you have the first and second answer,
You just add.
you just add 360. So it's like you copy, add 360, copy, add 360.
For sine and tan, do you add 180?
No,
or
no, 360.
360?
360 for all of them.
Okay.
The only thing you need to remember is this is the rules for the second answer.
Okay.
That's all. Now, you might wonder, when do you stop?
When the limit is, when it crosses the limit.
No, yes, you might think that. I can see why, because you say stop at 360. But these are not theta. These are all theta plus 75.
So you should minus 75.
That's one way to do it. Yep, that's one way to do it. An easier way to do it is at the very beginning.
Oh, add 75 there.
Oh, to the 360. No, it's simpler than that. At the very beginning, you need to figure out how many answers you should have. And that's easy to do. What you do is you look at the number in front of the theta. So in this case, the number is a 1. And you double it.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's
Two.
2. That's how many answers you have.
Yeah.
So in fact, you could have stopped at the first pair because you have enough answers. These are not necessary for this question. Okay, because this tells us that I have 2 answers. If this was a 2, then I would have 4 answers, and so I would need the next pair.
Oh, okay.
And if it was a 3, I would have 6 answers, so I would need the third pair, and so on. Is that okay so far?
But what's the point of doubling it?
It's only a rough rule, and the reason for that, if you want just roughly speaking, if you were to look at the graph of sine x, you can, or cos or tan, and you want to know when is it a particular value, what happens is it's that particular value twice per cycle. So that's the reason for the doubling, because you always get 2 answers.
So if it's 1 there, it means 1 pair?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's another way to think about it. The number here tells you how many pairs. So the 1 here would mean 1 pair and 2 would mean 2 pairs and so on. So we're nearly finished. There's only 1 line or 2 lines left. This is theta plus 75, but you need theta. So I need to subtract 75 from these 2 answers here. So 60 minus 75, minus 15. And 300 minus 75, 225. Lastly, last line. One of these answers is fine and the other one needs fixing. What's the problem here?
Negative.
Yeah. Now, do you remember how you fix an answer? There's something you're allowed to do to fix answers. Yeah, you're allowed to add 360 or minus 360. So this guy is fine, This guy we add 360 and we get 3, 4, 5. Now you can check the answer, which I recommend that you do. So, for example, here's our two answers. If you type in on the calculator 2 cos 345 plus 75, what should the answer be?
3, 4, 5.
No, but I mean before you type it in, what should you get? So remember, you're trying to solve this equation.
1.
You should get 1. And if you type in 2 cos 225 plus 75, what should you get? You should get 1. Now let's check. So let's just see what we get.
75.
Yeah.
That's 1.96. 3, 4, 5 or 2 to 5?
Oh, it's 3, 4, 5. Oh, you wrote plus 25. It's plus 75.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's 1.
It's 1, good. And if you just backspace and change the 345 to 225,
Yeah.
it's 1. So you know that you're 100% correct here, because you've figured out two different thetas that will make this equation true. So it's all fixed up fine now. Four marks?
5.
That's good. It's not like I wrote much more than I needed to because I was trying to explain it, you know? It's not that bad for 5 marks. It's actually quite good for 5 marks. Because obviously all these notes I'm writing you don't need in the exam. You don't even need to check your answer either. Just thought it would be good for us to do. Do you remember what happened when you tried this?
I didn't try it, that's the problem.
Ah, okay. Because totally stumped?
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched videos on the internet and I got confused because some people were using the unit circle.
Yeah. The unit circle's fine, but I think a lot of the time it's just easier to tell students, look, these are the 3 situations you can have. And in fact, in the exam, they kind of usually do a cos and a sine anyways, but they're not that difficult to remember.
Yes.
Okay, what's next now? Yeah.
8, 10.
10? Anything
Yeah.
before 10 you might need to see?
No. I mean, like, I know how to do it now. I had problem with A8.
What was A8 about?
It's a curve has equation y equals x cubed minus 4x squared plus 7x minus 1, and then find the equation of the tangent point.
Oh yeah, you had trouble with that in the exam, didn't you?
Yeah.
You made a dog's dinner of that, I think.
Mm.
Yeah. Do you know how to do it now?
Yeah, I know.
Are you
have
sure?
To, yeah.
You don't need me to do it?
No, we have to like
Okay.
integrate,
Differentiate.
differentiate.
That's what you meant, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does the derivative give you?
We need to substitute it in.
Good, yeah. Substitute in what?
The 2 and 5, I mean the point.
Good,
X
substitute
and Y.
point. And when you substitute that into the derivative, what does that give you? You know?
It gives you the slope of
The slope.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you still need to find?
Okay, I'm not sure. Let's do it.
Okay, good. I didn't mean to grill you. It's just I wanted to make sure that you were confident with it. You sound a little shaky, just a little. So what's this?
8.
8. Okay. Y equals.
X cubed
Yep.
minus 4x squared plus 7x minus 1.
Okay. So Sevi, what's the derivative here?
3x squared.
Yeah.
Minus 8x.
Yeah.
Plus 7.
Good. And what's the value of x we're supposed to use?
2.
So that will be 12 minus 16 plus 7. What's that? Minus 4 plus 7, which is 3. Now, just check. Do they want the tangent or the normal?
Tangent. Equation of the tangent.
Tangent, fine. Why do you think I'm asking?
Because if it's gradient, we have to use the law.
Well, suppose that they said normal instead of tangent. What would be different at this step?
You have to.
That would be wrong, yeah.
Why would that be wrong?
The-
Negative 1 divided by 3.
Yeah, that's it. It would be minus 1 divided by 3. That would be, if it was a normal. If it's a tangent, it stays the same. Because tangents and normals are perpendicular. So if this is a 3, then the other guy is minus 1 over 3.
Okay.
But we're in this situation, which is easier. Okay. So you have y equals 3x plus c. What is left to do?
Substitute
Find
the
C.
two-
Yeah, find c by substituting. What's the y value in this question?
5.
So 5 equals 3 times 2. Yeah? So c equals minus 1. So y equals 3x minus 1.
Okay.
How many marks is that?
4.
4 is okay. If it was a normal, I'd say it'd be 5 marks because then you'd get 1 mark for flipping this around. You know. Okay. Is that okay, Abir?
Yeah.
Are
I
you
don't- I
sure?
don't know about the tangent is a 3 and the normal is a negative 1 over 3.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like to me you could be practicing a bit more of the papers at home, perhaps. You think, maybe? I think because the final exam is like going to be, I'd say, 65% paper 1, 35% paper 2. So it's still worth your while to give more time to paper 1 than paper 2 stuff, you know. Right, what's the next one, did you say?
A10.
What's that about?
It's this one.
Integration.
Yeah.
An integration? How did you do with this one? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you did, okay. How did you do with this one, Sebi? Do you remember?
I think it was okay.
Did you give the exact answer?
No, I think that was a problem.
What did you give?
Wasn't exact.
Do you know what exact means now? What does it mean?
Decimal point.
No, you see, no.
Fraction.
Yeah. Like 90% of students have the meaning backwards. They think exact means decimal. It's the opposite. Exact means fraction.
Okay.
Yeah. You gave it as a decimal. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I think you did. Yeah. So you know you have to be careful about that. Okay. Exact answer. It's actually good that it's exact because it means you stop one step early. You don't have to type it in on your calculator. But if you do continue that extra step, then you lose a mark. So it's actually good when they say exact because it reduces the question by one step. So, you can look at the formula book, but maybe you know it off by heart. What's the integration of cos?
Minus sign.
It was going to be plus or it was going to be minus. I'm afraid it's plus sine x for the integration. The derivative of cos is minus sine. And then the integration of 18x squared. What's the rule?
18x squared.
Oh, sorry, 18x. What's the rule?
N plus 1.
Yeah, so the power now becomes 2
2
over 2. And you still have your limits. So this is sine x plus 9x squared. Pi over 6, 0. Now, what you do, you put in pi over 6. So that's sine pi over 6 plus 9 pi over 6 squared minus sine 0 plus 9 0 squared. Is that okay? Now, sine 0 is 0. That's obviously 0. Now, this is the mistake that students make. They sometimes just type the whole thing in and the calculator gives you a decimal answer. But if you type it in bit by bit, the calculator should give you exact answers. So, for example, if you type in radian mode sine pi over 6, what do you get?
Half.
Aha. Now, type this in and see if it gives it to you as a fraction. I think it will.
No.
It gave it as a decimal?
Yeah, 2.46.
Okay, so just type it in a bit slower. Delete that 9 and type it in again.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so there's no way of doing this without simplifying it first. That's fine. So you have 9 here, pi squared over 36. Now, the reason you're getting a decimal is because of the pi squared. So just type in 9 over 36. You can see it will simplify a little bit.
Yeah, 1 over 4.
1 over 4. So you can change this into pi squared over 4. And that's the answer then.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes you can type this in and it will give you this on the screen. I think it's not because of the square. I think that's what's happening. Okay, is that okay, Sevi? Do you need to write that one
Yeah.
down?
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Alright. Is that the last one in section A?
Yeah.
Okay, so what about section B now?
B. This one. This one, second bit, without working out.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
show Sevi that? See what you think.
I know it's like the rule, like sine
Cos
square
square.
theta plus cos square theta equals 1.
You
But
know
You
then-
could, you could
I
use
mean,
that
I know,
rule.
but
You
then
could use that
I'm
rule.
not sure
yeah.
how to like apply it. Like what
You
exactly
need
do we
a
need to
You
do?
need you need the first part. So I'll just draw this triangle here. How did you do this one in the exam?
I think I got that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you chose to do this one. Yeah. So you have here, this angle here is 30. This angle here is theta. This side you don't know. This side is a 10. This side is a 12. This side here is a root 84. And the first question they want, which we'll need for the second part, is get the theta, or rather get the cos theta. So how could I get the theta here? Or more precisely, the cos theta?
Cosine rule.
Very good. So what's the cosine rule saying here?
B square a square. Wait, can I see the formula?
No, you don't need to see the formula.
Cos A equals.
No. Not
No,
cos
I
A
said
equals.
yes.
What did you say? Are you going to say cos A equals this over this?
No, I'm saying the formula.
Okay, what's the formula?
Cos A
Mhm.
equals B square plus C square minus A square over 2BC.
Oh, you say it that way. Okay. That's true.
That's for the side.
No. Yeah, well, that's right. But that's not, I don't think that's how it's written in the formula book. It's slightly rearranged. But it's the same thing. Yeah. So, in the formula book, it's A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. Which you can rewrite that differently. You could say, for example, you could have said 2BC cos A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared. So I think what you said was this, Sevi, or at least something like it, which is fine. It's the same thing, yeah. So I use it in this form because that's how it is in the formula book. And we usually start with the side opposite the angle. So it's root 84 squared equals 12 squared plus 10 squared, yeah, minus twice, what's next? Maybe you can tell me.
10, 12.
10, 12 cos theta. Yeah. So that's 84 equals 144 plus 100 minus 240 cos theta. That's 84 equals 244 minus 240 cos theta. So I can say 240 cos theta equals 244 plus 84. Now the advantage of Savi's way of remembering the formula is you can cut these steps out. But the price you pay is you have to correctly memorize this formula.
Yeah, I use that formula.
Which, this one?
Yeah.
From memory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
So-
I did it in that book, the Edexo book.
They have it like
I
this.
have it like that, yeah.
Oh, okay. So cos theta, what's that? 244 plus 84. What's that, please? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 384? Over 240, I think. 244 plus 84? Is it 328?
244 plus 84 over.
It's 41 over 30, the whole thing.
41 over
30,
41 over 30?
yeah.
I've done something stupid here then. No, I've done something stupid here. Because I'm wrong. There's some
No,
stupid.
you're correct.
No, I couldn't be. Impossible.
Yeah, it's 41 over 30. Like 328 is correct.
Yeah, but I've done something stupid here with my numbers because the answer should be the other way around. It should be a smaller number on top, bigger one on the bottom. So can we check where this went wrong? That's right, yeah?
Yeah.
That's right, that's right. Oh, hang on.
So
I'm
just use that
confused.
formula.
Yeah, no, but I'm a bit confused. Is the formula with a plus or a minus? No, I forget.
That's minus.
A squared equals b squared plus c squared. No, I think it is minus. That's right. That's right, that's right, that's right. 144 plus 100 is 244, isn't it? That's right. Ah, sign mistake when I brought the 84 over. Should have been minus 84. Silly me. So, sorry, could you retype 244 minus 84 over 240?
2 over 3.
Much better. Much better. Yeah, that's a little hint for you. The number on the top for cos and sine should always be smaller than the number on the bottom. Okay, so now we can look at the second part. They tell you, or you know, that cos theta is 2 over 3, how to get sine theta. Now, actually, Sevi, you had a formula. No, actually, I think, Abir, you had a formula, didn't you?
Sine squared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sine squared plus cos squared equals 1. So that means sine squared theta plus cos squared, which is 4 over 9,
So equal 1.
equals 1. So that means sine squared theta equals 1 minus 4 over 9, which is
Square
5 over 9.
And a square.
Yeah, and square root. So just type in square root 5 over 9 and see if they give it to you as a nice fraction.
It's root 5 over 3.
Yeah, okay, they leave it like that. So you could write it as root 5 over 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think they might say give the answer in the form of root 5 over k or something.
No, root 5 over 3.
Yeah, it says.
Oh, it actually says
that.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so then this is fine. How many marks is that?
2.
Okay, and the previous part I did?
3.
Oh, it's 3.
So
Wait, this was only 2.
That's 3.
No,
That's 3 and that's 2. Okay, okay, that's alright. You think you got this one in the exam? Yeah. And Abir, you think you
No,
got...
I was confused because the formula is like sine squared theta, but I think it's like if
You-
it's like cos theta square.
Where the
because
square
then I'm
goes?
confused, like, yeah.
Did you get the first part or not?
I got the first part.
You
I
got
think.
the cos? Using the cos rule?
Yeah, like her formula.
Yeah, okay, fine, good, okay, good, good. How are we doing for time? Have we got time to do another one? We can get one more in, yeah.
What's the find the value of k?
Find the value of k in the question where the k is this length here, is it?
Yeah.
K root 5. Do they, no, I might not have all my information. Do they tell me something else, like the area of this triangle or something like that?
The area of triangle ABC
Is that this one here?
ABC. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
What?
half of the area of triangle ACD.
Ah, okay. So they're saying that this is twice as big as that. So that means we first need to get the blue area, and then if we divide by 2, we get the red area. So what's the easiest way to get the blue area? Well, I don't know if you remember, but we have a quick formula for getting the area.
1/2.
Yeah.
Times 2AB, is it?
Yeah. So what numbers would I use here? I would use the 12, the 10, and the sine theta. The formula is area is a half AB sine C, or in other words, half side sine the angle between the sides. Okay. Now the reason I'm choosing this one is because I don't have these angles,
Yeah.
so I need to look at these 3 up here for my formula. Okay. So that's 60 times sine theta. You actually worked out sine theta.
Yeah.
It's √5/3. So that's 20 √5. So what's the red area then? If it's half that, yeah. So that's 10 √5. Okay. Now I'll call this side here x. So if I use the same formula, I can say a half times 10 times x times sine 30. That should equal 10 √5.
Yeah.
10, 30, and x on this triangle. Okay. So that's what's sine 30, please, Abir? Is that a half? I think so. Isn't it?
It's negative one.
You're still in
it's
radian
still
mode,
negative,
yeah.
sorry. What was it? Sine
30.
30. Yeah, it's half.
Okay. Multiply by 10, divide by 2.
Half.
Yeah. Your answer there, multiply by 10,
Multiply by 10 divided by.
and then divide that answer by 2.
Okay. 5/2.
Yeah, so when you multiply these 3 numbers together, you get 5/2x. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's supposed to equal 10 √5. So that means 5x should equal 20 √5. That means x equals 20/5 √5. That means x equals 4 √5. And they said the side here is k √5. So then
K is 4.
k is 4 then.
Oh.
Yeah. How many marks is that?
3.
It's not a lot. I think there should have been maybe 4. Is that okay for the 2 of you?
Yeah.
I can't wait to do semester 2.
Yeah, well, we just want to make sure we're happy with semester 1 first. Do we have Charles later today?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was the biology and the chemistry in Charles compared to the IFY?
It's the same.
Is it?
No,
Yeah.
come on. No.
Well, let's take biology.
Okay.
How does that compare?
I think it's the same.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah.
We had like 4 topics that we didn't cover.
Well,
But like
let me
he
put it.
explained it, so
The difficulty. How's the difficulty of it? Like, if you were to think about your 3 subjects, which would you
Chemistry. I
be
think.
most confident or concerned? Chemistry would be
Hardest.
hardest, yeah.
no.
And
It's biochemistry.
I think chemistry will be fine for me.
okay. And the biology, what do you think?
Biology is fine for me.
It's okay?
It's fine.
Yeah, and the maths so far tricky
Yeah.
because we're doing stuff that was not on the IFY.
It's easier than IFY, but it's
Well, what did we do last week?
The
Complex
item,
numbers.
Yeah, complex.
imaginary numbers.
Yeah, that was okay.
That was fine.
That was fine.
Did you try some of the questions on the worksheet?
Uh,
You need to, you know. Have you done any of the past papers? Have you tried any of those?
I did the
I'm just
vertex
doing
ones.
this.
You did the vertex ones from the past papers, yeah.
But probability was fine.
Yeah, probability is actually really easy in the Charles exam because there's only really two types of questions: the Venn diagrams and the like the combinations.
But you know, for biology, you don't understand what they're asking because they translated their own language to
Yeah.
English.
It's not the translation's always a problem. It's always a problem. What we're going to look at later today in the Charles is we're going to look. I was talking about this with Amjad yesterday in class, which we don't do this on the IFY. It's the modulus or the absolute function. Now it seems quite easy because all it means is you make the thing positive. So for example, modulus of 3 is 3. Modulus of minus 3
It's 3.
is 3 also. So you might be thinking, do we really have to spend an hour looking at this?
Yes.
But unfortunately, it's one of those things in maths where it's something that looks simple, which is actually quite difficult because this modulus function is quite difficult to work with. So if I had an equation like modulus 2x plus 1 equals, modulus x plus 1 or whatever, it's actually kind of tricky to solve this because how do you remove the modulus? Like, how can you get rid of this? Because you're actually not allowed to put things into it
Yeah.
or take things out of it.
Just make them both like positive.
Yeah, but they both could be negative. You wouldn't know. Like here, if I said the modulus of x is equal to 3, what's x? It could be 3 or it could be minus 3.
Can we multiply or divide?
Well, this is the thing. So we'll see later today how we can remove it. Again, you might not find it too difficult. I'm glad that you found the complex numbers not too difficult. I think they're not too difficult because they're a lot like when we did the surds with the conjugate and stuff like this. So it's okay. The only thing you have to really remember is that I squared is equal to minus 1 then. Yeah. But anyways, we'll have a look at this later. What's that, 4 o'clock? I think so, isn't it?
Yeah, 4.
It's either 3 or 4.
3.
It's 3 today.
Math is second, I think.
Yeah, I think.
First class is 2 to 3, and then math starts.
Is it 2?
No,
I thought it was at 3.
Because we have assessment support first, after lunch, which starts at 2. Is it?
Yeah, so then the
So 2 to 3 assessment support and then 3 to 4.